אחת שאלתי, אחת שאלתי
Page 2.
May we return to our source and renew.
Within us.
We're on page 2. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return to who you are. Return to who you are, return to where you are, return to what you are, born and reborn again. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. We'd like to invite Rabbi Katie and her family, Raj, Daniel, and Adam, to light the holiday candles.
Yeah, take off the mask. Are you boys ready? You want to take this off? Okay.
To everything there is a season and a time for purpose under heaven.
A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap.
A time to kill, a time to heal, a time to break down, a time to build up.
A time to weep, a time to laugh, a time to mourn, a time to dance.
A time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing.
A time to seek, a time to lose, a time to hold on, a time to let go.
As the great doors of night open, we come together into this time of teshuvah, this time of turning, this time of unfolding, this time of letting go. May the lights we now kindle reveal to each of us all that has been hidden and guide us on our path to wholeness and peace.
It's a good reminder, everyone. Turn your phones off. All right, this is a Shabbos practice, but I love it so much I'm going to invite everybody to just take in the lights. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Yom HaKippurim. Blessed are you, source of light, our God, sovereign of all worlds, who commands us to kindle the lights of Yom Kippur. Blessed is the match that's consumed in kindling a flame. Blessed is the flame that burns in the secret depths of the heart. So, before we continue with the rituals of the evening, I want to just open this season of transformation with an acknowledgement, a practice called land acknowledgement, which is a tiny way for us to raise our awareness of the history of this place and to stand in solidarity with the indigenous peoples who once stewarded this land and who struggle in our time to heal from tremendous historical injustice. May our sacred service honor the legacy and continuing life and well-being of the Arapaho people, or Hinono 18, as we gather today on their ancestral lands. And a couple more words of housekeeping. Thank you for wearing masks. We up here are not, because all of us have tested negative, yay. But this is one of the ways that we are keeping one another safe. And there are people in our community who have vulnerabilities, so continuing to practice those safety measures enables us to include more of our community in person. So thank you so much for doing that. And for those of you on Zoom, welcome, and I encourage you to open your chat because I believe we will be posting things along the way there that will help you to follow with the service. And with that, if you have a talit, I invite you to take it now. This is the only service in the entire year where it's traditional to wear a talit at night in the evening. And you can find the talit blessing on page 3. I invite you to say it with me if you'd like to, and wrap yourself in the talit and just take a moment to breathe and just fully arrive and be present to our sacred service. Baruch, oh, no, it's not Baruch. My goodness. This must be a Reconstructionist community. Avrech et ein hachayim shetitatef betalit shel tzitzit.
As we stand in synagogue listening to Kol Nidre's mournful melody, we think of teshuvah, to return and respond. We return to an awareness that we are standing in the presence of all life and must cultivate the internal responses that make us a partner in that relationship. While we know intellectually what is expected, we grapple with the mystery of what life holds. Will we face challenges by using our minds as well as our hearts? Will we do the right thing because we are aware of our relationship with the divine? Perhaps. But even if we have not yet repaired our frailties, we acknowledge that the possibility is still available to us.
Granting dispensation from vows is considered a legal declaration, and Kol Nidre is traditionally recited in the setting of a formal court, a bet din. Tonight we connect with our ancient tradition as we convene our bet din for our B'nai Havara community in the year 5783. 3 members of our community come forward to hold the Torah. In a single voice we declare, all, including those who have transgressed, are permitted to come and pray. Who among us, we might ask, has not transgressed? Who among us is without failings? Calling upon our own authority, we grant permission to pray together as an incomplete people. Please rise if you are able, as the ark is opened and the Torah is removed.
And I call forward for our Beit Din, Wendy and Alan Berger, Emma Baumgarten, and Sandy Goldman.
Orzaru ala tzadi, ul'yishrele simcha. Orzaru ala tzadi, ul'yishrele simcha. Simchut tzadikim ba'Adonai, yamutu lezecher kosho. Together on the top of page 5.
By the authority of our community and by the authority of the divine Spirit that emerges from our coming together, we hereby declare publicly that we are creating a place of safety where we can come together with all of our imperfections and pray.
Shiva Shalmala,
Shiva Shamala,
Shiva Shalmata,
Shiva Shamata,
Shiva Shalmala,
Shiva Shamala,
Shiva Shalmata,
Shiva Shamata,
Adatamako,
Adatamako,
Adataka, Adatamako, Adataka, Anu Matiri Rehit Halel Imha Alvayani, Anu Matiri Rehit Halel Imha Alvayani. Shiva Shamala,
Shiva Shamala,
Shiva Shamata,
Shiva Shamata,
Shiva
page 5, please join me, to push ahead while memories of past failures still loom in our midst, vowing to continue, knowing full well that sometimes promises are not enough, takes courage indeed. Thus we declare together tonight, this is our solemn vow of release. All promises we make in the power of the moment, all curses we utter quietly under our breath, all vows we may swear with the sad knowledge that we will never fulfill them, are hereby null and void. These failings will have no binding power over us. These failings will not paralyze us. The truth of our finitude shall not deter us from the sacred work of Teshuvah, to which we commit ourselves this Yom Kippur.
Kol Nidre Vesare Vacharame V'koname V'chinuye V'kinose U'shavut Din Dana Udishtabana Uda Karimna Vodi Yadana Anafshatana Miyom Kippurim Ze Ad Yom Kippurim Haba Aleinu Latova Kulehun Icharat Navachon Kulehun Yehon Sharan Shavikin Shavitin Batelin Umvutalim La Shirin Vela Kayamin Nidrana La Nidre Vesarana La Esare Ushavuatana La Shavut
וכינויי וכינוסי ושבועות ושבועות דין דנה ודאשתבנה ודאחרימנה ודא אסנה ודא אסנה שתנה מיום כיפורים זה עד יום כיפורים הבא לנו לטובה כל הון יכרת נא והון כל הון יהון שרה שביקים שביתים בתהילים ומבוטלים לשרירים ולקיימים נדרנה לנדרה וסרנה לאסרי ושבותנה לשבות.
You may be seated. We turn to page 8 for the blessing for new beginnings and arrivals, the Shehechianu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lezman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, one more time, melech haolam just take in what it feels like to sing in a room full of people. Oh, it's like a balm to the soul. And our next prayer is a prayer that requires a whole community, the Baruch Hu. So I'm going to ask you to rise again. If you are tuckered out, you can stay seated. But if you're able to rise, please do top of page 9.
As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed, and the blessing gives us strength and makes our vision clear, and the blessing gives us peace and the courage to dare. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai Leolam Vaed.
Life becomes infinitely more meaningful and worthwhile when we become aware, through our participation in public worship, of a common life that transcends our individual selves.
You may be seated. We turn to page 10 and appreciate the cycles of light and darkness, day and night. Ya la 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 ya, ay ya la ya la 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 la, ay ya la 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 la, ay El Chai v'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Hamariv Aravim.
Bottom of the page, Ahavat Olam, first line.
Ahavat Olam,
Ahavat Olam,
Beit Yisrael,
Beit Yisrael,
Amecha,
Amecha,
Ahavta,
Ahavta,
Ahavat Olam,
Ahavat Olam,
Beit Yisrael,
Beit Yisrael,
Amecha,
Amecha,
Ahavta,
Ahavta, la 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 la, la 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 la,
Baruch atah Adonai, Ohivamo Yisrael.
Amen.
continuing the Ahavat Olam with English words in the middle of page 11. We are love, 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 by unending love and unending love. Again. We are love, 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 by unending love and unending love. We are embraced by arms that find us, even when we are hidden from ourselves. We are touched by fingers that soothe us, even when we are too proud for soothing. We are counseled by voices that guide us, even when we are too embittered to hear. We are love. We are love, 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 by unending love and unending love. One more time. We are love, 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 by unending love and unending love.
If you are wearing a talit, I invite you to gather the tzitzit, the tassels at the corners, in one hand as we prepare to recite the Shema, and for the most sacred day of our year, also the second line out loud. And we're going to do this with an intention of listening, and take one full breath for each word of our prayer. If you know the words by heart, I invite you to close your eyes and really just sink into it. First, we'll start with some silence. Shem kevod malchuto leolam vaed. Top of page 12. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם נאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. We continue together in the middle of page 12. Let us love with truth and goodness, with all our heart, with all our soul, and with all our might, Take these words of teaching to heart, transmitting them to our children. Let us recite them at home and away, morning and night. Let us bind them upon our hands, that our deeds be just, and keep them ever before our eyes, that our vision be daring and true. Let us inscribe them upon the doorposts of our homes and upon our gates, that our going out and our coming in be for peace. Page 13.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. ברוך אתה Adonai God Israel. Together in the middle of the page, what can be compared to the incomparable?
What words can capture the majesty and holiness of life?
Page 14 at the bottom. Join us for Ufros Aleinu, prayer of peace. Ufros.
The whole Beit Yisrael bagala uvizman kari veimeru amen yehesh meraba mevorach leolam amen maya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dikudsha b'richu le'ela u'le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma ve'imeru amen.
Please rise and we turn to page 16 for a prayer to be able to pray Adonai Sifatai Tiftach. And I think our ancestors knew when they gave us this gift of this prayer before the Amidah, they knew that it wasn't always easy to pray. Prayer is vulnerable. Sometimes there's an unfamiliar language involved. Sometimes there's all this theology you might not quite swallow. And so it's hard to just find our way sometimes to even know what a prayer is. But I hope that sometime over this next sacred day, each of us in this room will have a moment that we can consider to be genuine, heartfelt prayer, whether that is prayer in silence, prayer in meditation, prayer that is in English, prayer that is in Hebrew, prayer that is in movement, prayer that is simply listening to the sound of our soul and understanding something new about what we need to do and who we need to be. Page 16.
Adonai,
Adonai,
Sifatai,
Sifatai,
Tiftach,
Tiftach,
Ufiyagi,
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 Tehillah,
Tehillah,
Tehillah, Techa, Tehillah, Techa, Tehillah, Techa.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Sarah Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Rivka Elohei Yaakov Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'konei Ha'akol V'zocher Chazdei Avot V'imot Umevi Geula Livnei V'nei Ham Leman Shemo Be'ahava Zochreinu l'chaim Melech chafetz b'chaim V'hatveinu b'sefer ha'chaim Lemancha Elohim chaim Melech ozer u'mashiach magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah
Amen.
Atah gibor le'olam Adonai Rav le'hoshia Morid hatav Mechalkel chaim b'chesed Mechaye kol chai l'rachamim rabim Somech nofim l'rofeh cholim Umatir asurim Umekayem emunato Lishnei afar Michamocha ba'gvurot Umidom elach Yitzharav, L'chaim Berachamim. V'ne'eman atah l'chayot kol chai. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei kol chai.
Amen.
Kedusha, bottom of 18. There is holiness when we strive to be true to the best we know.
Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzvaot, Melech haaretz kevodo. There is holiness when we are kind to someone who cannot possibly be of service to us.
Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzvaot,
Melech haaretz kevodo.
There is holiness when we promote family harmony.
Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzvaot, Melech haaretz kevodo.
There is holiness when we put aside what divides us and concentrate on what unites us.
Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzvaot, Melech haaretz kevodo.
There is holiness when we are willing to be laughed at for what we believe in.
Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzvaot, Melech haaretz kevodo. There is holiness when we love truly, honestly, and unselfishly. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzvaot, Melech haaretz kevodo.
There is holiness when we share our bread, our ideas, our enthusiasms.
Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzvaot, Melech haaretz kevodo.
There is holiness when we gather to pray.
Baruch atah Adonai, Hamelech HaKadosh.
Please
Blessed
continue
is the source of holiness.
the Amidah on your own through page 22. Top of page 23.
Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha. Sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Sim, shalom, sim, sim, oh, sim, shalom, sim, 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 shalom, tova uveracha. Top of page 24. We have all committed offenses, betraying our ideals, willfully straying from the right path. Together we admit our failings, for though some are guilty, All are responsible. Together, we have all sinned through arrogance, bigotry, cynicism, through deceit and egotism, through
flattery and greed, through hostility, injustice, and jealousy. We have kept our grudges and longed for the stumbling of our neighbor. We have murdered hope, nurtured old hurts, and opened old wounds. We were possessive, quarrelsome, rancorous, and selfish. We were thoughtless, and we abused people. We were violent when we should have been forceful, weak when we should have been strong, xenophobic when we should have been open-minded. We yielded to convenience and showed zeal for bad causes. I, I, Ashamnu Baganu Gazanu Dibardofi Hevinu Behirshanu Zadnu Hamasnu Tafanu Shaker Remain standing if you have the strength, and we'll continue with these confessions, this vidui. And when we get to the final section, I'm going to read to you from some of your own words, the confessions that some of you were courageous enough to articulate at our Slichot observance a couple of weeks ago. So top of page 25. For the sorrow that we have caused by compromising our moral standards.
And for the sadness we have caused by not living up to our Jewish values.
For the pain we have caused by prejudicial attitudes. For the distress we have caused by not allowing others to strive for higher goals.
And for the pain we have caused by not believing ourselves and emphasizing wrong values.
For the problems we have caused by being a divided community.
for the suffering we have caused others and ourselves. We seek
the strength to right those wrongs in the year ahead.
For the sorrow we have caused by failure to transmit our Jewish heritage.
And for the problems we have caused by not educating ourselves and our children in Torah.
For the sadness we have caused by neglecting our parents.
And for the stress we have caused by overindulging in our children.
For the grief we have caused by not being supportive of our friends.
And for the pain we have caused by ignoring the plight of the poor.
For any suffering we may have caused unknowingly. I regret that I have let petty annoyances make me short-tempered with people I love. I regret that I have stayed silent when speaking out would have been helpful. I wish I could get rid of my fear of being alone, could tell that to my partner. I wish I could call my son's wife and share the sorrow we both feel about his death. She has hated me for 23 years. I wish I could tell this person I can't see them for therapy because I don't have the money. Being in more regular this is an intention for the good, being in regular communication with my brother. Not always getting enough sleep, being too tired or lazy to do some exercise every day. Forgivable. All of them so familiar. Telling my adult children what I think they should do and then asking whether they have done it. Not really listening when my husband says something. Not deleting unnecessary emails. I have imposed or projected expectations on others that were unfair or unreasonable. I have judged both myself and others harshly. I have sometimes treated my body unkindly. I have been impatient with others and myself. I have held back from being fully myself out of fear. I have taken my loved ones for granted. I have not said often enough and clearly enough how much they mean to me. I have not sought the help and advice of others, which then shut the others out. I have not followed up when I said that I would. I have been judgmental of others even when I don't know the full story. All of these have been articulated. All of these are one partial truth of what was, and all of them are no more. Seated. I will commit to you that I will take these torn up sins and I will burn them within a week. I have a funny story. I'll take 1 minute of time to tell you this funny story. So I might have told you already. As I was packing to leave Pacifica, California, we were going into nooks and crannies that we hadn't gone into for a long, long time. And I came across a bag full of torn up pieces of paper. And it was the sins of Or Shalom. My husband had warned me. He had said, "What are you doing keeping those in our house?" Which was my sin. Anyhow, these days I burn them, and I don't wait. I used to burn them as part of my chametz for Pesach. I would sort of keep these pieces of paper, but obviously that was a bad idea. So anyhow, I commit to you that by the end of this week, before Shabbat, I will burn those to ashes, and I will document it for you, and I will post it somewhere where you can see it. So on Rosh Hashanah, we spoke about several of the Jewish stories of creation. And today I want to take a deep dive into another story that some actually consider to be creation part 2. I'm going to start with a sentence that you might only ever hear in a Reconstructionist service. Fasten your seatbelts. Our story begins with God making mistakes. The first mistake, or so God seemed to think, was creating people. It's not that Adam and Eve ate the forbidden fruit. It wasn't even Cain murdering his brother. No, it was generations later that things started to really get bad, to the point of breaking God's heart. Genesis 6. Adonai saw how great was the evil of humanity upon the earth, and how every thought in their minds was only evil all day long. And Adonai was saddened to the core and said, "I will blot out humanity that I created from the face of the earth." From animals to humans, unto the creeping things and the birds of the sky, for I regret that I made them. Regret. I can relate to that. How many times have I been so disappointed in something that I tried to do that I let my regret become despair, and my despair become destructive? In some ways, you could say that the flood was a misguided attempt to do teshuvah. You make something that turns out to be evil. One way to take responsibility could be to destroy it and start over. I should point out that God isn't the only one to ever wonder if humanity was a good idea. The ancient rabbis Hillel and Shammai had a great debate on the subject, recorded in Tractate Eruvin 13b. The question before the rabbis: would it have been better if humanity had never been created? Imagine it unfolding in this very room. On the hopeful side, Hillel and his followers show a PowerPoint of baby pictures and moving music. Humanity was created in the image of God, they say. Your soul, the soul within you is pure. Think of heroes dragging people out of the mud. Our role is no less than partnering with God to heal the universe and lift up sparks of fallen light. Tikkun olam, people! On the pessimistic side, Shammai runs clips of recent news headlines and historical documentation of slavery, genocide, and the destruction of the natural world. We humans may have the capacity to do good, he says, but that does not outweigh our propensity to make mistakes and to fail utterly as parents, spouses, sons, daughters, friends, citizens, stewards of the earth, and yes, even as rabbis. We have messed up. We will mess up again and again, and I might add, we will mess up with more and more powerful technology to make our mistakes more and more consequential. The stakes are as high as the continuing life on this planet. So for 2.5 years, Hillel and Shammai argued according to the Talmud. Neither side could convince the other. No bipartisan solutions, lots of filibustering. Finally, they took it to a vote, and in an unusual turn of events, Shammai and his followers prevailed. And the majority of rabbis voted on his side, one of just a very few cases that happened. Yes, it would have been better if humanity had never been created. No amount of joy and love and goodness and beauty in human life could outweigh the suffering we have caused. We deserve, by all standards of justice we humans can imagine, never to have existed. The earth would have been better off never to have evolved and plagued this planet with the human species. Sounds a lot like what God was thinking with that whole flood idea. But the rabbis add a comment. 2 friendly and significant amendments. Achshav shenivra yifashvesh b'ma'asav va'amrei le yimashmesh b'ma'asav. Now that people have been created, let them investigate their past deeds, and some say, let them manifest better deeds in the future. This is a significant addendum. While admitting the magnitude of human evil, the rabbis advise us not to despair, but instead to take a practical path. Yes, we are going to mess up, but here we are. Now, what do we do about it? Number 1, learn from the past. Learn from the past. Number 2, do better in the future. It's all we can do. In fact, those 2 steps, learning from the past and doing better in the future, are one simple way to define repentance, teshuvah, the underlying work of our entire High Holy Day season. Unfortunately, God did not have Hillel and Shammai to consult in that moment of regret. And God's regret was godly in scale, and that regret grew from heartbreak into cosmically destructive despair. And we know what happens. God sends the flood, and it almost destroys the entire world. Luckily, God takes a liking to Noah, just in the nick of time, and decides to spare 2 of every species just for good measure. Somehow they all endure in the ark as the earth is washed of every other living thing. And so the world starts over. Eventually, Noah and the animals emerge, shaken, and I wonder, maybe God was also deeply shaken to witness the consequences of destructive divine despair. Maybe God too learned something from that painful, terrifying flood. Maybe that's why God promises in chapters 8 and 9, never again will I doom the earth, and establishes a sign, the rainbow, as a sign of the everlasting covenant. After almost destroying the world, God makes a commitment to handle disappointment in a less destructive way. In other words, to learn from the past and do better the next time, just as the rabbis advise. So much for the God part of the story, but what about Noah? What was it like for him after the flood? And what's it like for us now? For human beings in 5783 in the fall of 2022? In some ways, we are like Noah, coming out of the ark. For months, even years, many of us were hunkered down inside our homes, waiting out the storm. Economic torrents have washed away institutions and battered social and political structures. Our bodies have been pummeled by variant after variant. Isolation and disconnection have taken their toll on our souls. We've lived through a lot. Zoom school, Zoom work, Zoom services, canceled trips and weddings, sickness and vulnerability, loss and disruption, the early days when going to the store was a terror, the tears and relief of those first vaccines, the back and forth with Delta and Omicron. Some of us were trapped in isolation. Others living in shared homes could never be alone. Some of us had to mourn and support loved ones without physical contact. Some of us had big life changes. Some of us didn't make it through. Take a look around. We have all lived through a lot, all of us. And now we start to come out of the ark, and we see the waters have receded enough that we can be here together in person. Hallelujah. Vaccines and treatments are improving. Many of us have begun to travel again to see distant loved ones, and for those who are still vulnerable, we now have tools for connection that can give access from a distance. And so the world starts over. Just like we start over after all of our losses, after failures, after mistakes, after catastrophe. It takes hope to start again. It takes courage, energy, and it can be fraught with temptations and pitfalls, but there's something refreshing about it, something invigorating to move forward without all the baggage, to have a chance to leave behind unhealthy patterns and start with intention, to establish relationships and structures informed from the beginning with all the wisdom gained from experience. Starting over after disruptive change is the perfect time to enact the advice of Hillel and Shammai. Yifashvesh b'ma'asav v'yimashmesh b'ma'asav. Learn from the past and do better in the future. The great medieval rabbi Maimonides asks, what is complete teshuvah? His answer, this is when a person has the opportunity to make the same mistake she made in the past, and this time, she doesn't do it. A fresh start presents opportunity after opportunity to enact this principle. And I've been thinking about it a lot, this principle, as I start my new beginning here. 2 days ago, I decided to go to my son's soccer game instead of grinding away for 3 more hours on the sermons, which is probably why this is a little long. It made me nervous, but it felt great, as this big disruptive change in my life offers me a clean slate to learn from the past and do better moving forward. Noah and the passengers of the ark had a similar opportunity. So do we all as the pandemic lifts and the world starts over. In our moment, we are at a juncture where we will repeatedly be presented with the chance to look back, learn, and then move forward in new, better directions if we can. So when Noah got out of the ark after the flood, anybody know what he did? You might have expected the Torah to report him dancing for joy, crying with relief, or committing to establish a more righteous human society that wouldn't make God so upset. But no, what does he do? Noah gets drunk. Noah drinks himself into oblivion, and then he curses his own grandson. It seems Noah's trauma didn't just disappear when the rain stopped. It came with him out of the ark. Try as he might to erase those memories, he just ended up passing his pain to the next generation. Really, how could he not? When I've tried to imagine being Noah coming out of the ark, it is not a happy moment. It's more like 1,000 times the aftermath of Hurricane Ian. So painful, such an unimaginable devastation. Even though the scale of Noah's trauma was so much more severe than our own pandemic wounds, I think we too have a lot to heal from as we emerge in this moment. Noah's story warns us what can happen if we neglect that healing work. But thankfully, we have one thing that Noah didn't have. We have community. Noah had to weather the storm with just the members of his family and a menagerie of other species, but we get to come out of the ark and gather with an entire congregation, a community of souls to offer support, to remind us of our values, to laugh and sing and dance together as we take in the joy of appreciating life all the more, having seen its fragility up close. The flood story asks us to consider, how will we come out of the ark? As the destructive pandemic waters begin to calm, how do we go forward? Will we have the wisdom to attend to our wounds and learn from mistakes? Or will we try to pretend those years never happened? What would it look like to emerge well? As we enter this new year and this new phase of recovery, may we be blessed to learn well from our past and heal the wounds that we may still carry. May we find joy and strength in the embrace of community and the courage to let go of what no longer serves us. And may all of us and our world be sealed for a year ahead of healing, joy, and blessing. Amen. We turn to page 29. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שנתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. We turn to page 30 as we prepare to remember our loved ones with the Mourner's Kaddish. If life is sacred, it should not be allowed to perish. True, the body will return to dust from whence it came, but the remembrance of the life should continue. At the rising of the sun and its going down, we remember them.
At the blowing of the wind and chill of winter, we remember them.
At the opening of the buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them.
Blueness of skies and the warmth of summer, we remember them.
At the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them.
Yes, we remember them. They are now a part of us as we remember them.
When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them.
We remember them.
When we have joy we crave to share, we remember them.
When we have decisions that are difficult to make, we remember them.
When we have achievements that are based on theirs, we remember them.
As long as we live, they too will live, and they are now part of us as we remember them. The yard sites in our community this week include those of William Swid, father of Leslie Swid, Melvin Beagley, father of Linda Gus, Joseph Fellman, father of Arna Kaplan, Ben Passer, grandfather of Marty and Andrea Wissott, Jerry McCullough, husband of Eileen Rosenthal, Marion Copland Binnenkorb, grandmother of Claire Zober, Eugene Finnick, stepfather of Shelley Goss, Helene Casper, grandmother of Amy Hook, Dolly Dewaskin Spiegel, mother of Paula Gutter, Joseph Meltzer, stepfather of Alan Lazaroff, Arthur Fine, husband of Janet Fine, and Solly Wertheimer, grandfather of Jeff Haber.
Please rise if you are saying Kaddish for a loved one, either a recent loss or the anniversary of a loss, the yard site. And you can find the words of the mourner's Kaddish on the top of 31. All are invited to rise when we get to the line Yehei Shmei Rabbah, as we have our communal response at that time. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shmei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'yimru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'almei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha b'richu, la'ela la'ela mikol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya, b'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, u'yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru Amen. You may be seated.
Top of page 32 together. May this night and the coming day leave us better, for there having been spent by us in common prayer.
May the influence of this night abide with us and bring us true repentance.
Joan has some announcements for us.
Good Yontif, everybody. I'm Joan Wallace, Chair of the High Holiday Committee. I'd like to welcome you to the Kol Nidre service and let you know about a continuation of the services that we have planned for tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, Yom Kippur, 10 o'clock, correct?
Yeah.
10 o'clock. And then in the afternoon, to help you not pay attention to your hunger, we have 2 afternoon of learning opportunities. The first one at 2 p.m. here at Highlands Church. I'm not sure exactly where it'll be, but if we'll find room and let everybody know. The title is Fasting for What? Reflections on Ritual Behaviors and Intentions with Debbie Goodman. It's from 2 to 2:45. She's a wonderful, wonderful teacher. Our second offering is at 3 o'clock, a reflective walk with Susan Kaplan, also another outstanding teacher. That will be in person. Debbie's will be in person and on Zoom, and Susan's will be in person only and meet at the front doors of Highlands Church. Also tomorrow, if you are a shofar blower, please bring your shofars to Ne'ilah, and we'll have a communal shofar blowing led by Ted Levin. And if you'd like to start the year 5783 with a mitzvah, please volunteer with Becky, our wonderful leader who's worked so hard on these services, to help her bring things back to B'nai and help put things away and clean up. It'd be a wonderful gesture. Also, Every year at this time, we collect food for the Weinberg Food Pantry at Jewish Family Service. It's also called Donations for Dignity, and the High Holidays is a time when B'nai members and friends can really make a huge difference. The food pantry requests the items that are listed on the bag, so you can just go to King Soopers with your bag and buy what's needed. They also are in need of hygiene products, such as toilet paper, soap, toothbrushes, toothpaste, period products, razors, shampoo, diapers, and wipes. We all live in such abundance. Let's share it with those that don't have as much as we do. Have a good evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Jen. Our closing song is on page 32, Achat Sha'alti. Let's read together the sidebar on that page, which is a creative translation of the prayer. One thing do I seek in life,
one goal do I pursue, that I may appreciate as holy the place in which I dwell throughout my days.
Chatima Tova.
Kamar Tov, everybody. Easy fast. See you in the morning.